Hi, my name is Charlie Geraci. I'm a designer at the Ivan Young Academy at USC, and I've been helping Support and Feed create a Notion system. Now, Notion is a tool and a platform that helps us augment our own work and our own efforts by automating tasks that we would normally do with our time, but letting the computer and the system handle it so we can kind of take a break. Similar to how Google Drive and Google Docs and other tools like that have really helped us already grow, Notion is a system that takes it one step further. So the system I've built handles things like media, handles things like event planning, a roster for getting in contact with everyone else, automating simple things that we would otherwise be doing ourselves. It would take up a lot of time. So really cutting corners on things that we don't really need to be focused on, but still need to get done. So yeah, I'll jump into the system right now. So here's the beginning of it all. This is kind of our home page. There is some items that are still here, like there's a pre-launch to-do list, which will get filled out. So if you're one of the kind of the admin members of the team, check that. And there's a couple of items in there that may need your attention. There's also a section here where we've got the website, some new volunteers, returning volunteers, recent volunteers. This information will get filled out as people like you help fill out with content. So hopefully this video will support teaching you how to actually navigate in Notion, and those information blocks there will get filled out eventually. So there's actually quite a lot of content. I'm not going to cover it all right now. I think first and foremost what I'll do is actually start with the volunteers directory. So this is a great little system for teaching how to use Notion. So for example, let me actually close these, remove that, and then I'm going to actually click all the way back here. Okay, great. So here's our volunteers directory. Now this is a lot of example stuff. These obviously aren't real people, but what you'll notice about it is Notion breaks things into very easy to understand visual references. So for example, let's look at Callie Miller, a fictional person. This person has a name and a location. So this will break down by location. So Los Angeles, we have people in New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Of course, there's many more locations that Support and Feed works with, but this is where you would actually add them. Now, in order to select location, so if I want to take her off Los Angeles, we could say that Callie works in New York. You just drop down, select it, and that's great. Now, these are called tags. Obviously, they're in color. Tags help us sort through information. So if I want to, later I'll show you, if I want to sort by location, I can bring up everybody who works in New York. And I can tell that they work for Support and Feed because they've been tagged as Support and Feed staff. Now, there's also drivers, meal prep, restaurant partners. These are examples of other types of volunteers. So now you may not want to get the contact information of all of the Support and Feed staff in New York when you're just looking for restaurant partners. So if somebody's a restaurant partner and staff, their name will be in here. In fact, as you can tell, actually, it's set to being only one type of person. So I can actually change that in here, select, multi-select. Now they can be a restaurant partner and staff. Now that changes the template for everyone included in this list. But that's kind of a general way that you would select tags. So good to go over that. We'll kick it back to Callie Miller, goes into Los Angeles, that type of thing. All right, so some other information that we've added to this profile is what do you do? Oh, Callie is a senior software engineer, joined the Support and Feed team on this date. That may be relevant. We could leave that blank or remove it entirely if it's not useful. But let's get into some more information that's actually very, very relevant. So our LinkedIn, this is her LinkedIn. I think this is actually an example URL. This doesn't work. Here's her example email. So obviously it would be Callie at supportandfeed.org, I believe is our URL now. But this would be her email and her phone number. Those probably are the top two most important reasons to have a volunteers directory, is because if you're say in New York and you want to talk to somebody who's in Los Angeles who's also helping work with restaurant partners for let's say it's some sort of collaborative event that travels, or it's a tour or something like that, you're going to want to quickly be able to gather that information from those types of individuals. Now, another example would be, let's say someone we don't have on the team would be, let's say, people in Atlanta, Georgia, who do meal prep. So those could be restaurant partners, meal prep people, whoever, or delivery drivers. You could actually pull together a great roster by sorting through someone's tags in their actual little directory here. So we have a nice little photo and a bit of a bio, some stuff like that. So very basic. You can also see that here's another example, different URLs, different email addresses, different phone numbers. This is another person, Eduardo. So very much different people with different tags. And so if I wanted to actually filter this, I could say, show me where location is Los Angeles, and I add a filter where the, what would this be? This would be volunteer type, right? Volunteer type contains, let's do support and feed staff. So as we saw with Callie's profile, support and feed staff and in Los Angeles are both required, so we see her profile. So if I wanted to say, show me where restaurant partner, I don't actually have anybody for that. Let's do meal prep. Okay, so here's two people in Los Angeles who both do meal prep. So that's an example where you could say, tell me in New York all of the restaurant partners. And you could all collect their emails and phone numbers and all that stuff and put them into an email if you need to send out an email blast. So that would be a really quick way of actually breaking that down. Another way, which is separate, which you don't necessarily need to do, that's a great way to do it, but if you want to break it down by location, you can say, okay, show me everyone who's in Los Angeles. Great, boom. Everybody in New York. We have Delaney, Philadelphia people, and then it shows, so we have this person and this person. She's a driver, she's a restaurant partner, another driver, a driver. Show me everybody who's by department. That would show me by the actual role. So here's all the drivers in Philadelphia, the meal prep. So we have a couple in New York, Los Angeles, another in Los Angeles for meal prep, restaurant partner, and of course support and feed staff. So as this list gets bigger and bigger with real people's information, you can really leverage the power of Notion to kind of drop down and isolate information. So there's a ton of stuff in this database, but it doesn't have to be complex. Unlike somebody in Google Drive or Excel spreadsheet or something, that is simply too much information to quickly sort through. So in Notion, we like to do it visually. So you can set a couple of filters, it sorts people through, and very quickly able to access information. It says, okay, let's say I need to send her an email, I can call her, I can email her, whatever. Just super simple, very casual way of doing stuff. All right, so that's the volunteers directory, very simple stuff. Of course, that's right here on our left. There's some other stuff. Volunteer stories would be a repository of kind of the who, what, where, when of different positive stories that people have to tell about their experience. And then the volunteer guidebook. It's not filled out. It's empty right now. This is something that we would really like to design hand in hand with some of the support and feed staff. So this will be a basic guidebook for frequently asked questions, rules, legal questions, things like, hey, will I get reimbursed if I spend, money on this or something if we need it? Let's say we need some sort of branding material for an event, handing something out. These will be spots where volunteers can go to ask their own questions and get their own answers. So they don't have to constantly be emailing somebody on the team, hey, I have a question. I was like, well, it's in the guidebook. And of course, this was inspired by all of my professors, who whenever a student would raise their hand in the first week of class and say, hey, I have a question, he'd be like, well, guess what? It's in the syllabus. Your answers are in the volunteer guidebook. So it's a great place for, before somebody needs to reach out and actually send that email, they could just look there first. And it's also a quick redirect. If you see someone that has a question and says, oh, check here, shoot the link over. And that's super easy connection for questions. Now, if I wanted to say, okay, hey, this is some example text in the guidebook. If I wanted to share this page with somebody, just like Google Drive, I can send a link. I can also add their email address, or I can tag them. Hey, Remus, there you are. Hey, Remus, check this out. This is a test message. Please ignore. Anyway, I don't actually want to send that to Remus right now. He can chill with that. But you can tag somebody inside of a form. Now, they will see that at Remus in their updates tab. So as you can see, here's something that Remus actually tagged me in. said, hey, looking good for event and media management. And I can click on that link and it'll send me straight to the place that he actually tagged me, which is a really great way of doing it. So that's one way of sharing with somebody. You can say a quick tag. You can also, I believe if I hover, add a comment. Say, hey team, here is the example for the guide book. And then I can attach a file. I can attach an I'll also talk about that. I can tag people, but I can also tag times. So if I want to do next Thursday at 3 p.m., that might be great for some other reason. And of course, I can do at next Tuesday or whatever, and it'll actually drop in that specific date and time. So that'll be great. You'll also get a reminder the day, September 14th, 2021 at 3 p.m., that date will actually appear in your All Updates tab, and you'll get a notification. You'll also get an email about it. I think you can change the settings if you'd like or not, but you get an email about it. It'll be here in your inbox. For example, it kind of looks like that, the little number 5. So here's some other stuff that my friend Sean was working on another project. So I can see what they're doing on the following list. I can also archive them, but there's not really any reason to do that. They'll just disappear over time as needed. Okay, great. So let's say I want to share this project with somebody who's outside of the support and feed staff or who's not directly on the document. I can hit share, and I can click select share to web, which is already on, and that creates an actual live link to the Notion page. I can also, you can tell who's already on this team inside of here. If I want to copy that link, I can let me do a isolated tab. And I just click the link and boom, there it is. Hey, this is some example text in the guidebook. Remus, check this out. This is a test, please ignore. So that's a great way where I can actually click open the entire system inside a web browser. And I don't need to be logged in to view this. Of course, there's settings that you can turn that off so you can't view them on a link, but this can be sent to anybody, and it's actually like a fully functioning website. So you don't need to be signed in to view this, all that jazz. So that's a great way to share via a link, or you can tag them or whatever. You can also restrict access. Okay, Sammy, I think you should be can comment only. I actually don't want to restrict access, but Sammy's a very important member of our team. But that's how you would share an example page. So you can create pages. If I wanted to create a page inside of this, by the way, I know this is a lot of information, but hopefully you can just kind of rewatch this over time. But if I wanted to do some sort of action, add text, do some basic text commands, things like that, I can either say, hey, what's up? You've already seen me doing that. But if I want to do slash, there's an entire menu that shows up with slash. And now I can do a page, so embed another page, so a page within a page. And I can keep going to that, so it's page within a page within a page within a page. That's a great way of kind of nesting information. So if you, let's say, have menus, right? You have a menu, but it's only for a certain restaurant. So on that restaurant's page, you would embed another page that says, oh, these are their menus. And if it's like, oh, then these are their menus that are available for catering, like delivery. Okay, so of the meals that they can make, another subpage is for the ones that support and feed can order. So that's how you would do that. Or you can do different headings, large, medium, small, stuff like that. You can do bulleted lists, really great for formatting. Numbered lists, 1, 2, 3, like action number 1, action number 2. Toggle list lets you hide information and package it really nicely inside of a larger piece. I'll show you that quick, actually. That's really cool. Hey, and then I can open it up and do, wow, look at this. I was hidden before. Great. Okay, so boom, there you go. You can put as much information as you want inside of that little toggle, which is so helpful. So that's a great little thing. If I can do this, let's say make a big heading. Wow, look at this text. Super easy. If I want to do another one, let's do another slash command. Let's do another page. That automatically opens it up, and if you notice, I've got support and feed, the volunteer guidebook, now this untitled page. Wow, test page. So exciting. Look at this. Okay, now if I want to add an icon, I can do this. It randomizes it. I could do, okay, construction worker. We'll do that guy. Add a cover. Great for visual formatting. Not required. And sometimes I actually, come on. There you go. It's a piece of wood. Sometimes I'll actually change it out. We'll do space guy, Mr. Astronaut. Great for visual framing. Some systems, it's actually better not to have it, but for the most part, that makes it look really pretty. I can click the reposition button and drag them around. There you go. So that's that. So we'll go back to our volunteer page, and there you can see that's the page we just made. What else do I want to show you guys? To-do list, super helpful. Wow. Actually, I've been saying that a lot. Item 1. And then I hit enter, and it'll continue making another item. Item number 2. You guessed it. Item 3. All right, great. That's great, and I can actually click out of that. Another page. I can do a reference to a page. That's really important. So if I type in page, I can do a link to a page, and then I would need to select that. All right, so here's another example of another project I've been using. Boom, that's a link externally. If I want to put a link to another page, and I can go copy that page. Let's do mission value. I want to copy that. Copy link. So just like before, I can submit that on the web, wherever I'd like. But if I go back to the volunteers directory, oops, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. The volunteers guidebook, and I put that link in, just hit paste, I can say link to page, or I can mention it. Mentioning it puts a summary in, kind of like that, and then you can do link to page as well. But they're tags versus whole lines. Both work fine, though. All right, there's that. That's pretty much it. I know this is a lot of information, like I said before, but just have fun with this, play around with it. You can tag somebody, mention a page, insert a date, add some mathematical equations. Tables, super helpful. Basically a mini Excel spreadsheet. Boards, Kanban boards, which are essentially what Trello is built on. So if you've ever used Trello.com and you like it, you can drop that right in. Notice this is basically the same formatting as our volunteers directory. So that's super basic. You can move the cards around. Very open-ended for interpretation. These are basically the skeleton of how I built Notion. So jumping into this first is probably the best way to get you a little bit of experience. And if you don't remember any of this, watch this video again, shoot me an email, whatever you have. I'm always here, always here for questions or whatever. So that's pretty much all the important stuff. There's so many wonderful tools and things in Notion, which is great. Linked databases, that's a whole video and a half in itself. Very complex, but super useful. Images, adding an image, adding a web bookmark, embedding a YouTube video. Now, that's something that Google Drive cannot do. So that's great. Audio, you can drop an audio file in. Regular file, if you want to do a PDF. You can embed PDF, Google Maps. You can actually embed a Google Drive file inside of Notion. So as long as you've signed in with your Google Drive account, you can have a Google Drive file that you can actually type in inside of Notion. Super powerful. So if you're hesitant saying, hey, I really like this Google Excel spreadsheet that I've already got going, I want to include it in Notion, but I don't want to have to merge it or move it over or whatever, you can do that. So you can do Google Drive, Twitter, GitHub, Google Maps, Figma, InVision, all these other really cool stuff all through in here. So this is all under the / command. Yeah, I'm going to ignore that for now. We're going to go delete this. I know, it sucks. But delete all that, boom, leaving it ready for anyone who wants to build it. All right, so the next thing I would do, social media is pretty empty right now as well, but the social media content database is not. This is really cool stuff. So if I do gallery view, it shows 2 photos. So we're going to start with one here. Now this is the title of the photo, the date it was created, so this automatically fills as soon as you make it. The date taken may not be the same date that I created this folder, maybe in the past. So sometimes we can sort by date taken. Created by me. Photos were actually taken by Remus. Thank you very much for the example. We can drop in the photos here, so this is great. I mean, I just grabbed these off of Google Images. They're just example photos. Caption, story behind photos. Great way to keep track of, kind of what was in the mood. So if you want to go post this on social media, you can say, okay, great, give me photos taken in Los Angeles on July 18th. Because there may be events like, let's say, Christmas Eve. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great support and feed charity events on Christmas Eve. There's traditionally been a lot of feeding the poor, things like that on Christmas Eve. A lot of religious groups do that, I know as well. If you want to say, show me last year on Christmas Eve, it's a yearly event, show me Christmas Eve in New York where the photos were taken by Remus. Boom. You can actually sort through that. In fact, I'll show you, just like before. So add a filter where the location is Los Angeles. And of course, there's not a lot of data, so it sorts very quickly. Where the date taken is an exact date and whenever it was. Obviously, the other one disappeared, but if we're going to do that, we're going to do December, 24th? That would be Christmas Eve. Boom. So in Los Angeles, taken on Christmas Eve. That'll pull up all of the photos in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve. And you can do that 2021. You can change that so you can actually delete there's a way to do it. Or actually, you could add it by year. But basically, that's what we built. Is a great way to sort through the data that you've been collecting. So that's great. That's that. And support and feed media in general. What else is really good and ready to go? Meeting notes. I am the only one who does the meeting notes, basically. This is just random stuff that every time I have a meeting, I quick throw the notes in here. But as you know, this is actually a table, and I can do this in a timeline. Okay, great. Why not? Now, I believe that these, if you notice, notes from TechSync was on the 19th. No, the 10th. That's talking about NFTs. On August 2nd was a meeting with Sarah Lynn. A meeting with Remus on the 19th. Oh, there was another. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, you can actually tell where these were because you can go backwards. Anyway, so those are examples of time on the calendar. So you can actually see, because if you guessed it, Notes on TechSync was the date of the meeting was on the 19th. August 19th was when I last edited it. Actually, this doesn't have much content in it. I think I was using something else, but basic notes in here. Notes for today here. And I can resolve that comment. Boom, and it's gone. All right. If you'd like to see history of anyone who edits or changes stuff, whether it be yourself or another member of the team, you say, oh, let me see what Remus has been up to recently. You can say, view the updates. And if you notice, I changed some things here. I changed some other stuff here. I deleted stuff here. If you want to connect this to a Slack channel, so for example, the entire support and feed page here and any other sub pages, we can actually connect to Slack, boom, right there, and you will have a Notion bot who will send you messages every time somebody does something. I deleted some example stuff. I changed the icon. I did whatever. Obviously, as more people work in here, here's some stuff Haley did forever and ever ago when we were originally creating this for the IF pitch. So that's great. Updates right there. Another little thing to keep in the back of your head, not required. Project milestone tracker, exactly the same layout as the meeting notes that I just showed you. A range of dates, through time, which is great. So project milestone tracker can help keep things going over time. So if you have multiple stages, project 1A, project 1B, project 1C, all these stages will have timelines. And if time passes and not a checkbox or something else hasn't been checked, you can actually just text my text messages. Yes, all good. All right, editor, which is me, please remove that. Hopefully, we'll cut that out quick. So project milestone stuff there. Trying to think of what else we've got going here. Legal stuff, all this stuff needs to be filled out. There's not really anything here. This is all example stuff that I put for him. In fact, Remus has been reminded, hey, work on this. There's so much other stuff: time slots, media management, volunteer interviews, da 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 da. Here's an example: interviewer name, John Smith, interviewed John Doe. When did they interview? We'll put that as, that random date, whatever. Basic stuff, super easy. As a template, you can always create more here. Here's a template without anything there. Interview questions template should pop in. Boom, there you go. Super simple. Just on the right side, what says new right there. I know this is a lot of information. I've already said that, but yeah, it's good stuff. There's tons of other things. Event planners, a coffee chat, which is going to be in person, but also online, on social media. Instagram promotion, that's on social media. It's a multiple day event. Social event, meeting with new team members, an internal org. Let's say that's also online and fun. Why not? Just some example stuff. We can change those. Good to go. All right, so yeah, and if you got this far, if you're admin or somebody like that, check out the pre-launch to-do list. There's some stuff in here. Some stuff's been checked off, things like that. But yeah, so basically, welcome. Again, I'm Charlie Geraci. My email is right at the top here, cgeraci@usc.edu. I'm happy to help with whatever you guys need. It's been a pleasure working on this as well. I'm really excited to have it used. This will be one of the larger systems I've designed, not because the system itself is complex, but because there's going to be so many people working on it. And as the team grows, as the volunteership grows, more and more people will be using this. So it'll be a really great case study for what I do as a designer, as well as kind of the user experience side of things. So I'm really looking forward to looking back on this, actually, and kind of looking to see how things have changed over time, how we adjust, how we learn, how we roll with the punches as life gives them to us. But yeah, in general, this is a really great system. I'm excited for you guys to use it, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.